beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so what else do you do apart from being married to
Mr. Katongole.
Mr. Katogole?
I am a banker.
Mm-hmm.
I studied accounting, but I'm really passionate about young marriage.
Wow.
Yes, I've always been passionate about marriage in general because of the basis that it is all of Christ in the church. So, yeah, I'm a banker and I'm passionate about marriage.
And you in fashion, in what?
No.
You look like a beautician.
Oh my goodness. No, I am not. I am a banker. I'm into finance.
Wow, that's really amazing. And then Mr. Katongole, you're very welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
How are you keeping pretty Leah looking cute like that? Tell us, the men out there, give them the remedy.
Well, number one, the first remedy is to give them time. So I give Leah time. She loves time. So I give her time. And then most importantly, we are friends.
Wow.
We are really, really good friends. So it opens up a lot of boundaries, and it breaks a lot of obstacles. Yeah.
So what else does Mr. Katongole do?
Well, I'm an accountant.
You're all account.
Yes, I'm an accountant.
So you don't have to account for money.
And I'm self-employed. And I'm passionate about God. And I love keeping a low profile.
Wow.
That's it, basically.
That's beautiful. Please tell us, where did you meet? Where did you find Leah? What are those things that drew you closer to Leah? Because you're really newlyweds. Have you been in marriage like for 1 year?
No.
Getting there?
Yes.
Oh, please, you're still even in dating,
Yes.
whereas you're in marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is still a process of its own. Because even the months they are journeys.
So how is it faring?
So far, so good. So far, so good.
You love it?
Yes, I do.
You haven't found any hurdles along the way?
The hurdles are there, but as long as you talk about them and you agree on what to do, and then the rest is easy.
Let's begin from top.
So we met in 2017. So we've been friends since 2017. We met in one of those buildings in Kampala. I was working on 2nd floor, and she was working on 5th floor. So we met in a lift.
Is it a church house?
No. So we met in a lift, and that's how we became friends. So this friendship, this relationship is basically has the foundation of friendship. So we are very good friends. Anything that is bad, that is good, we talk about it.
Yeah. But I'm sure, Mr. Katongole, you had met a lot of people on the building,
At
right?
the time we met, I was content. I was content, looking for money, and she was content, but you see her. I mean, you can't fail to notice her.
I know.
Yeah,
so how did you know that Leah was the rightful woman? Because you had met a lot of women on that building, right?
Yes.
Yes.
She was unique. To be honest, she refused to give me her number for over, I think, 2 months. To me, it was a challenge. So that was a challenge for me to pursue her. And here we are. So before we got married, we were dating for close to 2 years.
Yeah. So Leah, what did you put up a challenge?
Like you said, I was content. And there was just so much going on at the time. I was pursuing my postgraduate diploma.
Yeah.
And there were just more things that were important at the time than calling Mr. Katongole up. And I guess, people come and go. You never know how serious somebody is until they're really persistent.
Yeah.
And he was really persistent.
Did you feel it like he was
persistent? He put pressure. He did.
But I'm sure there's a lot. There are other men who are putting on pressure. So how did you know that
Like
Mr. Katongole was the right woman?
Like I said, there are people who are serious and there are those who are not serious. So he applied just the right amount of pressure to get Leah interested.
How far was the pressure?
It was a good pressure. He tried to find my number through calling the company phone, then getting people to call me. Like, it was real pressure. Like, okay, let me just speak to this gentleman and hear what he has to say. And the first question I asked him was, so what do you want? Because I had so much going on. And he said, I just want us to be friends. I said, okay, that's easy. We can be friends, and that's how our friendship began. We never tried to push an agenda for over 2 years. He didn't push an agenda. He didn't force himself on me. He just let me go at my pace.
Woo! That's beautiful. So how was your process now? You're becoming friends. You become friends, right?
Yeah.
So how did you pursue Leah? And like, what are those qualities that you saw in Leah that drew closer to you? And you're like, I want Leah to be the mama.
Well, one thing that is fascinating was that just a few months after we had known each other at friendship level, I got a job outside the country, and I expected the friendship to break, but it just got stronger and better every day. We were talking. She was helping me run a few errands this side. And the most important quality that attracted her to me is that she's a team player. She will do everything that you ask.
You see, Leah?
No, it was him having to travel. Like you said, you get worried. Is this friendship going to be fruitful? I mean, it's long distance now, and we're just friends, by the way. But like you said, we kept talking every other day, and then he trusted me with some major projects. And of course, everyone was worried, can we trust you with such a project? Oh my God, it's so big. But I don't know. I think it was just meant, like I always say, it was just, I mean, what are the odds of meeting somebody in a lift? I don't know, no connections, nobody knows the other, and then you end up married.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
That is good. That is good.
So when did you begin the dating process?
Well,
After
we
you
dated
were
after when I came back, so we started dating. Then sometime in 2020.
We are still dating.
You were even up to now.
Yeah.
But before marriage.
Hey,
so
before
sometime
marriage, like that process.
I think from October 2020, I officially made my intentions known. I told her, Leah, I want to see your parents. And she responded after 1 month. So she responded after 1 month. But it was okay because I'd waited for a while. So 1 month was nothing. But in that 1 month, we were together. Like I said, I was applying the right pressure. So basically, I didn't give her any chance to say no. So that's how I made the intentions known. And when she accepted, we began the planning process.
So
now we began courting.
So Leah, why did you give it like 1 month? What were you doing? Were you still digesting just this thing?
No. Like I said, because we were friends, and when Brian made his intentions known, I was not surprised because I knew it was coming.
Did you expect it?
To an extent, yes. To an extent, yes. But also, you expect, but you just don't expect it to happen so quickly. And I told him, okay, I've had you. Now, let me go back to my father and also speak with him, because for the past 1 year, maybe 1 year, as was mentioned, he had been fasting for marriage, for finding a partner, not finding a partner.
So you didn't fuck?
No, I'm not
Mr. Katongole
She didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was fasting.
I think even by that time he phoned you, he was fasting, and then maybe. Is it right, Mr. Katongole?
Well, no.
You are in fasting.
So I was, when I told him give me 1 month, now for me I had like an anxious, like something that keeps prompting you to pray about marriage and your partner and your future spouse. And I've been praying for about 1 month.
He also prayed.
Yeah, I've been praying. For some reason, we didn't know that we were on the same wavelength when it came to praying and trusting God for marriage. And then, so when I asked him to give me 1 month, what I was doing is I was going back to God to tell him, so, your son has come to me. And he's convinced and he's sure that this is it. I just wanted him to have it in his spirit and be like calm with the information he had got from God. And I wanted God to give me that exact same information. Just like with Joseph and Mary. That's the exact same thing I wanted. And indeed, that is what happened.
So how did it, excuse me, how did it come to you? Was it in a dream? Was it
No,
in
you
a
listen
vision?
to the voice of God. And God is always very clear. It's either a yes or a maybe wait. But he was not quiet in this time. He was quiet the entire time I was praying and seeking him about it. But this time, the answer was so profound in that I had no excuse anymore. So I told him, okay. After 1 month, it was actually exactly 1 month, I didn't know until we sat down and talked about it and we were like, okay, 1 month, so now let's quote. Because let's first leave this friendship, let's actually quote.
Yeah, wow. So 1 month has elapsed and you've said yes to Mr. Katongole. So what was the next thing? Was it preparing for Pantula, Chala?
Yes.
And how did the parents perceive the message when you had talked to them?
Okay, so my situation is a bit different. I lost both my parents when I was young. So I had a village raise me. So I had some aunties and sengas and people who had been very important in my life. So I spoke to one of my aunts, Aunt Allen, and she told me, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
She gave me a list of things. She's like, first of all, congratulations, of course. She was like, I'm happy for you. Finally. And then she gave me a list. You're going to do this, you're going to meet this person, you're going to meet this person. So she kind of guided me. At that point, she was like the mother, but I never had questions sister to my mother. And she gave me guidance on how to go about it. And once I had that list, I shared it with her and I told her, this is what we're going to do. And you have to meet your parents. And you have to, this whole time, I had never met his parents and he had never met mine. So I went to meet his parents. They were lovely. They are God-fearing people, thank God.
They loved you?
Yeah, they loved me. They treated me so well, honestly. I have nothing but to say at all. And they treated me so well. And when Brian met my family, they're so welcoming. It was different because we are different cultures. So his family was a lot more welcoming. Mine was, they held back a bit. They were like, oh, our daughter, our girl. I think like any family. But once they got to know him, they loved him like a son. Their own.
Wow, that's amazing. But we have missed out one thing. When did you go? When did you guys go for premarital counseling? After when you're into dating and courtship, or after you were after the child?
Well, before the Pichala, we started, by the way, we had our counseling with the Life Ministries, Mr. and Mrs. Chove, and we started in February, so it went on for at least 8 months. So during that process, we were able to know what is priority and what is not.
Yeah.
So all the plans, like he's saying, of meeting parents, they were all guided by the counseling we had. Yeah, so the counseling really shaped us into what we are now.
How long was it?
It was 8 months. It started in Feb, ended in...
just a week before the wedding.
Ended in November. So 9 months, yes.
So, Leah, what is the use of premarital counseling to the youth out there who are, some people tend to fear counseling, maybe some of them indulge into sexual intercourse before they get married, and they fear that when they go for premarital counseling, maybe they'll ask them those tough questions. Why did you do that? They condemn them, so that's why they fear and they withhold on counseling and guiding. And some of them tend to go to friends that are maybe they're not going to tell them the rightful things. So what is the use?
Okay, the truth is, counseling is tough. You have to learn to be accountable because these people mean well for you. They want you to succeed in marriage. That is why it's called premarital counseling. They're giving you a training, like a course, because marriage is on-job training. Everyone will tell you that.
You come with books?
Yeah, we actually had notebooks and our books and study books. The beauty about Life Ministries was they had a guide that really helped us. Section out what we're going to study, when we're going to study, how we're going to do it. And we had to date, like we had to go out, take coffee together as a must, because you had to be accountable the next day. About the bit of having sex before marriage, they actually tell us in the first sessions that if you're staying with this person, or if you're having sexual intercourse with them, for the next 8 months, you can't do that. Yes. After all, you're going into marriage and you get to do this for the rest of your life. So yes, there's that fear, but if you're not honest, how will they help you? And that is why premarital counseling is very important. Yes, you may believe, what do they call it? You may say things that you've been hiding for so long, but that kind of accountability also helps your partner get to know you better. It helps your partner know that there are actually things that are deep-seated that need to be resolved. So they are resolved early, so that they don't become a problem later in marriage. Maybe that's what I think.
One big part of counseling that really helped us was the fact that, like you said, we are from different cultural backgrounds, and then different, we are Christians, but different religious backgrounds. So this counseling was designed in a way that it helped us to understand each other in terms of culture and religion, and most importantly to know that, to understand that having different religious background is not the most important. What is the most important is to have a Christ-centered home. So those are the best parts of the counseling. Yes.
Wow. So from premarital counseling, now you're into preparing the kuchala.
They were hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
We were having our counseling because we said our counseling in February. We had the kuchala in September. Then we got married in November. So everything was hand in hand, and they structured it in a way that made it.
Who gets to structure it? Is it the couples or the counselors?
The counselors. And we were in COVID, of course. So we had, I think,
because remember, my husband was working like in another country.
Long distance relationship.
Yes, it was practically long distance. So we're just playing games actually until we got into counseling. Then we had to deal with so many things, from your background to your judges, things that they generational things. They keep uprooting some of those things and praying them out of your life.
So, Leah, what do you want to say that these people who have been dating minus counseling, do you think that there are things that they have not talked about?
It's very possible, and that's,
definitely.
Yeah, the trauma is advised that they were actually very honest with us and told us, we hope you've not set a wedding date. Unfortunately, we had. They like to go with people who have the time to invest in this person. Yes, so everything has to come out eventually.
So, Katongole, what do you tell a man out there who has not gone into counseling, like what they missed out, and you think that maybe it's going to take them years to understand, like from their spouse?
Well, before I go to understanding certain attributes from their spouse, also themselves. Certain times as individuals we do things not knowing that there is a reason why. Perhaps your grandfather was doing it, your father is doing it. So if you do it, now at least now you know that you know why you do it. So you're able to break the chain. But that is one advantage that I as an individual I got to understand that my grandparents were doing this, my parents are, even me I am, and I said, okay, now this is who I am. I'll give you an example. If you are short-tempered, sometimes it's a generational issue. Yeah? If you are, for example, a liar, it may be a generational issue.
Hey,
so
also lying.
yes, most of those vices are generational issues. So you get a chance to pray out of them, and then you also lose an opportunity to understand yourself, because I got the chance to analyze myself, evaluate myself. I even got the chance to talk to my parents. I told them, okay, where are my weaknesses? Where are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? So until you do that kind of counseling, you never get to know who you really are. Yes.
All right. So we're going to just go in for a short break, but you're going to come back still more on Katongole, on the Katongole.
Do you know that you can now enjoy great enriching shows anywhere through the Family TV app? Here is how to download it. Open Play Store on your phone. Search for the Family TV app. Click Install. After installing it, open it and enjoy enriching content anywhere, everywhere, anytime. Family TV, enriching lives.
Hey, wanna race? I will love you. You wish.
Do you know that you can now enjoy great enriching shows anywhere through the Family TV app? Here is how to download it. Open Play Store on your phone. Search for the Family TV app. Click Install. After installing it, open it and enjoy enriching content anywhere, everywhere, anytime. Family TV, enriching lives.
stable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
Why? Obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange, anti your TV enkolera.
Enjoy a new world of entertainment with over 80 TV and radio channels, plus movies from wherever you are. Download the Yo TV Channels app from your app store and enjoy 30 days of free streaming with MTN.
Yo TV Channels, the power is in your hands.
Welcome back from that short break. You know, we are still looking through these questions that you've been sending here. But in case you also want to join in the conversation, just feel free to send us any message on those numbers that you're seeing on your screen, and we shall be able to answer every question of yours. Let's begin with the question that you've really sent in. This one says Nathan tricks to settle. That is what he has said. I think he's a youth out there who would really want to settle, but he's still into, do I settle, do I not, how do I settle, wedding budget might be expensive.
The first trick to settling down, number one, is you have to understand yourself. You need to know who you are, what you want, and secondly, you need to know what you can do and what you can't do. You need to know your limits.
Yeah.
In terms of, you spoke of a wedding budget. You have to know that, okay, this I can do, this I cannot do. Yes.
Wow. Then this one, patience, I think it goes to Leah. How does religion, can you please guide me on how does religion help me in my marriage?
Religion. I think it's more of God that helps in your marriage. One of the things, and we keep referring to the premarital counseling because these were major issues for us. Mr. Katongole is Catholic, and I was raised Anglican. So you can imagine a situation like that. But they told us in marriage, everything else is pulled aside. The most important thing is God. Is God the center of both your lives, despite what he has grown up learning and what I've grown up learning?
Yeah.
Is God the center of your lives? I can tell you, me and Mr. Katongole, we still pray. We have different ways of praying, but we still pray together. Because at the end of the day, we both know that without God in this thing, and we knew what we were getting into. I knew what I was getting into. I knew that there was going to be a time when I'm actually a bit confused about how he prays and how I pray. But that stopped being the most important thing. The most important thing became the relationship with God. And patience, you say she's called patience?
Yeah, she's called patience.
Patience, all I can tell you is keep God at the center of your heart first. And then once you have him at the center of your heart, and your partner has him at the center of his heart, that becomes the one thing that brings the two of you together. Like, that's a no-brainer. Because it is God that has brought you together, whether you're dating, whether you're courting, it is God who has brought you to this point, and it is him who decides at the end of the day the fate of the both of you. So keep God at the center of your heart. That's what I would say. It's God at the end of the day.
Wow. And then this one says, this one is called Agatha. What to do and what to avoid in a godly marriage.
What to do is pray. Pray without ceasing. And we used to hear these things from our parents and some of our older married friends, and they would say, you need to pray without ceasing. And it seemed so hard because I was like, on my own, sometimes I struggle to pray. Now would you expect me to pray when I'm married? What is going to change? But there's a responsibility that is put on your heart by God himself when you're married to pray for your partner, pray with your partner, and pray for yourself to have the grace to be married, to stay married actually. Every single day you need the grace to stay married.
Yeah. And then this one says, Kalia says, is there a godly honeymoon? So basically I think he's asking, how was your honeymoon? Because he's asking, he's trying to ask, is there a golden honeymoon? How was your honeymoon? Stuff like that.
Well, thank you for the question. Our honeymoon, we're still in honeymoon, by the way.
Even up to now.
Up to now. But
I'm sure I have gotten the answer.
But it's going on well. Well, I know the honeymoon he's referring to. That is life after the wedding day. It was good. We relaxed. We were praying. We tried to cut ourselves away from everyone because it had been stressful days. But we managed it, and like I said, we are still in honeymoon, and we don't intend to get out of it.
Wow. So how was life? How was life after the wedding? And before we go, how was life after the wedding? How was the wedding?
The wedding.
The pressure. How did you handle the pressure from people?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like when people tell you service providers can do something else. So we had some issues here and there with service providers, but at the end of the day, we fixated our minds on the end goal, which was getting married.
Yeah. For someone who is really trying to do a wedding, or who is planning to get married, or who has a feeling and who has an urge of getting married, what do they have to expect?
Well, one thing we learned from our counseling is that there are priorities you must have. And planning for the wedding, budgeting for the wedding is number 6 out of 6.
Yeah.
Why number 6 out of 6?
Because it is what is important is life after and before. How do you get prepared for the wedding day? How do you prepare to get married? And then how do you live life after? So number 1 was, we are going to brainstorm. Number 1 was you have to budget for counseling.
No, actually, number 1 was life after
the wedding. Yes.
Do you have where to stay? Have you planned for what to eat? For the next?
So you have to keep some
6
money.
months.
You have to keep some money on the side, or probably if you're renting, you pay for rent like 6 months in advance.
So
keep away some money.
About that.
So that you don't have
So that's number 1.
Number 2, as what you say, planning for your counseling.
Yes, planning for your counseling in terms of time, more especially because what we did with Life Ministry, they didn't ask for any penny, but we invested time. We invested a lot of time in the night, on Sundays, so that is number 2. Number 3 is planning for, you have to budget for your honeymoon. That is also important. You see, we're not even going to the wedding day.
Not yet. Not even to think about it.
Yes. What's number 4?
Number 4 is planning for like a traditional function.
Because you need to be accepted by your spouse's parents.
Yes.
So that is more important than the wedding date. Because life after is I'm going to go to Leah's parents, and what will they say? How will they look at me? Did I take the daughter in the wrong way?
Yes.
And then vice versa. What will my parents say towards her? So that is also quite important. And then
number 5 is planning for the church.
Yes.
And
Church,
the church service.
the real church service.
And then number 6 is reception.
Yes. So for the church, we were also able to acknowledge the fact that the most important people and the 2 of us, the witnesses, and the person who is going to wed us. The rest are not so important.
Basically, the function will happen
whether you
want or not, but it has to have those 5 people.
So women tend to have a lot of pressure. How will the decoration be? What will they eat? How will my gown be? So women tend to have a lot of pressure. Did you have a pressure?
I think because I started early, because I started planning for my wedding in February. I was getting married in November. I started depositing in February for things to do with anything to do with my wedding. I want to say I had a very good matron, and once again, ladies out there, it is so important. I cannot explain it, but it is so important to have a really strong matron, we call them matron, somebody who has the same beliefs as you. Not just, I could have chosen my sister because she was married. I have nothing against her. But I chose a friend of mine who I knew would be real with me. Because I know at the end of the day, it's the person who goes on with you through your marriage. It's not just one day. So thank God she was also as organized as I was, so she would also pressure me. We need to get this done, we need to get this done.
So you need to give her the list of...
Yeah, usually, because I worked throughout, I think the only time I got off was about a day to my wedding. She handled majority of the things that I was part of were maybe the gown. I was glad that my husband was very active in this process, by the way. That's another thing, gentlemen, please support your partners in this process because it's not easy to plan it.
Tell my camera guy there. It's called a market Chiba.
Please support your lady during this process. It makes all the difference when you have your partner being able to carry some of this load. Because theirs is easy, they just get a suit, they cut their hair, but I have to think about who's going to do my hair, who's going to do my makeup, am I going to get my dress? There's a whole list of things. No, we did not have maids.
Hey.
We made a decision not to have maids because we wanted this day to be focused on the both of us. Yes. So, yes, it can be stressful, but don't allow it to take control of you. We actually got into very petty arguments with my husband. We got very, very petty arguments when we were in this planning process. And
should the women out there expect them?
Yes, because we failed to agree on very small, very small.
Small like what?
Small like, oh, should we do green or should we do light green? Like it's a whole thing, but at the end of the day, you need to shift your mindset and take it back to the main reason as to why you're doing all this, which is to be married. Because guess what? Before you even leave the chidara, they're already removing the deco. They're removing the chairs. It's done. But if you let those fights now control your everything, then you're going to have challenges even when you're going into your honeymoon, and that's the last thing you want.
So how did you guys do the wedding budgets?
Well, number one, first and foremost, I must say I had the best team.
By the way, you were accountant.
I had the best team. No, I had the best team. What they told me, I handed over the function to them like 3 months before because they didn't want me to be stressed. I would just come in here and there if they need any information. So, James out there, please, no matter how much money you have, you can't plan a wedding on your own. You need social capital, you need friends who are going to run around for you as you complete your counseling, as you sip your tea, as you rest. So the budget, number one, we knew how much we had and what we wanted. We had around 100 people for the wedding, including us. So we're able to say, okay, now this is our cap. We are not going beyond this because there is life after. So after we knew our cap, then we were able to work backwards up to the number of people we wanted. And that's how we did it.
Wow. So the wedding is done now, you're into reality.
We're into reality.
You're into reality.
But it's still budget.
It's still budget.
Like for the first week, did you get the wedding done and then you went for the honeymoon or?
Yes, we went after 1 day. We went after 1 day for the honeymoon. Yes, and then that is the time whereby the value of being a friend kicks in. Because then you look at each other now, okay, everyone is gone, there are no chairs, no decorators, it's the two of us. So if you're not friends, how are you going to form a conversation? Exactly. Yeah, but for us we didn't have it. We didn't have that feeling because we were friends.
It's like we're just continuing from where we stopped. Only that now we get to stay together all the time without being in different houses and all that. Yeah. Actually, we joked about it a lot. Like after all this is done.
No.
Actually, to this date, we can't believe we got married.
And even up to now, you're not into reality.
Yeah. By the way, God has been so good to us that we've managed to see the beauty in everything, even after. Like we're still in, like you said, we're still in honeymoon actually. And sometimes I'm like, but can you believe we actually got married? And it's because we're friends, it's like we're just continuing what was already there.
So that is the beautiful part of it all. When you're friends, you get to have to talk about stuff.
Again, to add to that, once you're friends, saying sorry is easy, and saying thank you is easy, and forgiving. Those are, I think, one of our strong points. We say sorry, and we forgive and forget. We don't bring up past issues. When someone has said sorry, it's so easy to forgive, and we move on.
Do you send each other messages like the couple we brought here and they say they still rate even up to now, those who love notes?
We do. We have our moments when we do. We can't say that it is perfect, but
you know some newlyweds, when they are...
It's important to know your partner's love language. So there's no point in doing that if your partner will not value them as important. You must know your partner. Once you know your partner, the rest is so easy. So you know, for example, your partner wants quality time and may not want like those letters or gifts. Another one, a partner may want probably to do some things for them. For example, running a few errands, and that is their love language. So until you know those ideas, you can't really make your partner happy. That is why some people say, but I gave you a car, I give you money. Yet you don't know you don't know your partner's love language. Yes.
So Leah, now I look, you've checked into reality.
Yeah.
Now you're together with Katongole, you're staying together. You, apart from being busy at the bank, you have to come back home and cook. Yeah. So how do you blend in all those things? Busy schedules, you have to come back at home and cook. You have to take care of Mr. Katongole. You have to wake up very early in the morning, stuff like that. For a woman out there.
For a woman out there,
is it
the
easy?
truth is, it's not easy, but because you have a person who you love so much, who God has blessed you with, who you are, I don't know, you just find yourself doing these things. It's interesting because you don't do the most. You think you're doing so much, but you actually not, because when your partner, okay, let me put it this way. Someone once told me that don't use up all your energy when you're at the bank. Keep some for your partner when you're heading home. First of all, we agreed to use 1 cup every day. We both have, like I said, we were content. We were doing well for ourselves. But we made a decision that the only way we are going to build this relationship is if we have time together every single minute that we can. Because we spend about 8 hours at our jobs. So how can we maximize the time that we have? Instead of spending time on the road alone, spend it with your husband. So by the time you both reach home, you've gone through the same thing. So he knows also, he'll say, okay, we really sat in jam, we really had a long day. Let's fix up something that is a bit light. Let's not go into okay, let's do something. Because your partner has seen how you've gone, and when you both leave work, you discuss how was your day. And you talk through it and realize that your person had a really rough day. And sometimes, yes, you go all out and you want to do the most for your partner. It's not easy, but it gets easy when you have a person who you can do it with. Like the ladies out there, yes, it is tough, and that's the truth. I'm a newly married, and someone may be out there, they've been married for 15 years, and you can't really give them. But my 2 cents on this is, if you spend as much time as possible with your partner, the movement together will help us, because when he sees that I'm actually tired, he knows that he will say, let's do something lighter. But yes, it's exhausting at the bank, but I keep some energy for my husband. So when I get home, I have the same energy.
Wow, that's really amazing. And then Katongole, there are men out there who are not understanding, all because of their family backgrounds. they grew up in, let's say, in a traditional way, that a man is a man. You don't tell me whether you've been busy at work, you have to come back and kunyika okay and what. Hey. So
sometimes you do it, by the way. Sometimes you actually.
How do you help your couple to walk through the journey of being newlywed? Yeah, because all of you have been apart and you've been all together, so you don't know those things of coming back home. And when you get to here and you have to sleep early, I have to wake up and...
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that question. Again, going back to counseling, we're able to learn that a man, a husband, you have to be a servant leader, not a ruler. So you have to be a servant leader. Like, you know, a servant, you're supposed to do some work at home, not just to sit there, put your feet up and wait for coffee or tea or whatever. No, you have to also dig in, because once you dig in, your partner will feel appreciated, and then the chemistry will go on. So I know most men have been brought up differently, but you see, you can't use it as an excuse on your partner. As she's adjusting to taking care of you, living with you, you also have to adjust. Yeah. So for my case, I end up doing some housework. I do my best to help her. And then there's a time when I complained. Actually, I told her, Madam, you're spending too much time in the kitchen. Come and sit. Yeah, so you have to adjust to your partner. You have to know that, okay, now we're a team, and I'm the servant, I'm the leader, but a servant leader. I have to also dig in and do what I have to do. Yes.
So your parting shots, Leah, on ladies out there who are still looking for a partner. What do you tell them?
I will start with that piece of advice that my sister gave me. She told me that please do not get married before you're 30. And it seemed so abstract at the time, because I wanted to get married at about 23. I wanted to get married way younger. But she gave me that advice because, and this does not work for everybody. There are people who I know who are getting married much younger and they're doing very well with it. But my parting shots is take your time, build yourself first of all, because you shouldn't be looking for someone who completes you. You should be looking for someone who complements you. So my sister's reason for saying that was, I mean, you will have matured a lot more. You'll be thinking different at the age. The way I think now at 30 is not the same way I thought when I was 23 years old. I think about love and butterflies and beautiful wedding dresses. That's all I was thinking about. But when you reach a certain age, you start focusing on things like things that will sustain your marriage. Things like value systems, like beliefs, what is important to him and what is important to you, so that you can find ways of making it gel together. So ladies out there, take your time. It's not a race. It's not a race. And please remember that you get to spend the rest of your life with this person. There is no way out. That's just how it is. So you need to know that this is the person that God has chosen for you, and this is the person that is also good for your mental health, for your emotional health, your physical health. It's very important to take some time and just sit back and focus on your relationship with yourself, first of all, your relationship with God, and your relationship with people. Because you will find that will flow into the marriage that we have now. We are friends, but if I were 23 years old, I don't think I would have considered Mr. Katongole because he was so mature. And he matured much younger, because when I met him in 2017, his thought pattern was way beyond what mine was. So I had to get myself to that place where I was also comfortable with the kind of person I was, so I could be a good helper for Brian and build him as well. So yeah, I think that's what I would say.
Then, Mr. Katongole, your parting shots on fellow men out there who are still thinking, do I get married? Don't. There are people who are not married and they are still faring in. Yeah.
Well, marriage is good, it's beautiful. Number one, marriage has its own blessings, first and foremost. But before you get married, you have to pray. Because like we talked of being the servant leader, you have to lead prayers in your home.
Who fear commitment.
You have to lead prayers in your home. Yeah. So for those who fear commitment, well, it's not bad. It's okay. Take your time. But most important, the best quality of someone to marry is to marry your friend, because it makes things a lot easier. So marrying your friend is the best attribute, is the best quality of someone you can get married to, and then the rest gets easier along the way. So it's the best advice I'll give to the men out here.
Thank you so much, the Katongole. Let me
One final thing. Please take your counseling seriously. Yes, because we are still learning from it.
Even up to now?
Even up to now.
You still go for counseling?
We still get our books and we monitor ourselves and evaluate. Okay.
And you do tea?
Yeah. Okay. We do. It's very important. It's very, very important.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for following us. In case you have just joined, just know that Family Talk Show is ending now. Just catch it next Friday from 6 p.m. to 7 from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Friday, and repeats are always on Sunday. Have yourself a beautiful weekend. Have yourself a beautiful and lovely weekend with your family. Make sure that you use and utilize every minute that you have with your family. At the end of the day, I love you so much. Brenda Mahooro is my name.
Hey, want a race? I will love you.
You wish.
Mirinda.
Grab yourself an ice cold bottle of Mirinda Orange at any shop or supermarket near you. Mirinda Orange, the taste that makes you go OMG.